Good morning and welcome to First Friday. The Chamber of Commerce and the City of Independence are excited that you are here. And before we get started, I want to remind everyone or make you aware that Labette Health and Independence Healthcare Center are sponsoring and putting on a COVID-19 vaccination clinic as we speak. So they're right behind us in the gallery area. So if you are in need of a COVID-19 vaccination or you know of someone who does need one, text them. They're going to be here and from now until around 9:30. So we have 5 great speakers this morning, and they're going to bring lots of really good information to you. And I always ask this. I just encourage everyone to take all of the information that you get and that you hear today and then go out and either share it on social media, tell your friends and neighbors, and make sure that you're sharing the information, because it's one way that we work really hard in Independence to get good, accurate information out to the people. So in particular, if you see it come up on a YouTube feed or you on a social media feed, the Facebook Live, then be sure and share it to help us get that information out. So it's time to welcome our business sponsor this morning. Please welcome ICC's new president, who is working tirelessly, I'm sure, with his faculty and staff as they get ready for their first day of classes next Wednesday, which is hard to believe. At this time, would you please welcome Dr. Vincent Bowie.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Madison. Appreciate the opportunity to be here today to tell you all the great news going on at ICC, but also to be a part of this community. Independence is very special, and I'm proud to be up here every month, it feels like, but also to sponsor this event to tell you a little bit more about what's going on. I want to take a moment to acknowledge all of our new faculty and staff that are in the room. If you are new to ICC, could you please stand up, and let's welcome our new community members. If you're joining us on Facebook, we have about 20 tables of ICC employees, I think, this morning. So we're excited to have such a strong showing and encourage everyone to be here very early in the morning for some of my friends who I won't call out by names. But I also want to say thank you to our board members that are here, Val DeFever, Norman Chambers, and Ashley Osborne. We have an amazing board of trustees, and they're also an amazing piece of our communities, and I just want to say thank you for their continued support. And thank you to our friends at Labette Health. I know Brian, Doug, Anthony, we're working with them as well to vaccinate as many of our students as possible. Thank you to all of our first responders and our community healthcare professionals and everyone that's doing their part to help battle COVID-19. It's going to take a community approach as we continue to fight this important battle to make sure that our community is safe. I'm up here every month at the podium telling you something exciting from ICC, and I'm just going to give you a few more exciting updates. Lisa kind of stole my thunder, but classes are starting August 11th, and I hope to see some of you there. We have a lot of time for you to still enroll, and this year's a year unlike any other. In addition to the exciting construction projects that are taking place, if you drive by ICC West, for example, you'll see a new parking lot that just got installed a couple days ago. New paint is going up on all of our academic buildings, and you're going to continue to see construction throughout this year. Last month, you received a report on the Veterans Center. We are proud to have just finished that in the past day or so I can't wait to welcome you all there for ribbon cutting very soon. More importantly, we've worked with our Kansas legislatures, and this year we have the Kansas Promise Act, which is something I've talked about previously, but I want to highlight again as enrollment continues to be open for the fall. This is a last dollar scholarship from the Kansas legislature, and it's a historic investment from our state to make sure our Kansas high school graduates, our students, high school graduates, and those that are 21 years of age and older wanting to come back, enroll and complete a certificate or a 2-year program in a specific career or technical field. If you're a person that has graduated from a Kansas high school, has lived in Kansas, and are interested in going back to school or starting your college career, there are a lot of programs that you can get just for going to school at ICC that will be free. That'll be last chance opportunity for you to get your tax dollars paid back to you to invest in your future. So when you look at our website, you can see that web design, EMT education, advanced EMS, early childhood education. There's a list of programs that you can actually go through that will be able to be affordable because of the Kansas legislature. And I just want to make sure that you know that this is a chance for you to further your life, further your education, and further our community. The best way to protect our democracy is to have an educated citizenry. And I really want to continue to encourage all of us to find ways to continue to give back to our communities and to help make our community the best place it can possibly be. I mentioned earlier, but ICC continues to prioritize the health and safety of students impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Last month, I was able to share with you that we've used our HERF funding, which is the Higher Education Emergency Relief Funding as a part of our COVID-19 response, to not only help relieve student debt to help them re-enroll, but we've actually been able to release students from over $500,000 of outstanding student debt, which makes an incredible impact on their lives. We actually have already helped over 400 students to be able to re-enroll, reimagine their future, and to reinvest that dollar into protecting their families and growing their nest eggs for future endeavors. And I'm personally proud that we're able to use our funds to help our students in that way and to continue to invest in our students that are in our community. We are going to continue to remove barriers to student success in any way possible. We're going to look at new programs and imagine new ways to engage new students and continue to grow our enrollment so that you can be proud of the community colleges in your community. We are committed to putting community back into Independence Community College, and I hope to be able to invite you to events throughout the fall. I'm also dedicated to improving the relationship between our local high schools and Independence Community College through our ICC Now program. I'm excited to announce that J.C. Gillum, who is an employee at ICC, is actually going to start beginning to work in our high schools to serve our high school students that are actually also duly enrolled at Independence Community College. This historic investment is going to help bring the pirate experience even closer to home for all of you that have students inside our local high schools and in our service area. And I'm personally really proud to say that we are going to help make sure that all of these students are successful in their education pursuits. If you continue to drive by campus, you're going to see a lot of things that are underway. And I'm also really excited in our packets that you'll see, you'll get updates on our table. You're going to see that we are really raring to go for a great athletic seasons. Our coaches are just chomping at the bit to get out there. And I think that you're going to be very proud of not only the student athletes that represent Independence as a community, but also how our community continues to pull together, even in spite of the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. And let me serve this as a warning to our fellow competitors in our community college region. We're coming for you, and we're going to win. We also have a great theater program and a lot of events that are happening. Paul's going to be up here in just a little bit to highlight an upcoming event that I hope I can see all of you at. And I want to also continue to encourage you to mark your calendars for the Return of the Inge Festival at the end of April. And I want to thank our partners at the William Inge Festival Foundation for continuing to work with us to make this a meaningful experience in our community and to continue to highlight the important work of the theater in making a difference in the lives of others. We have to continue to encourage the imagination of our citizens and to work to make sure that we all are thinking big things and thinking about how we can improve our community. And last but not least, I also want to say that thank you. For the past 100 days, you guys have all been incredible supporters of me and the vision that we work towards together to make our community the best place possible. And thank you for your continued support of ICC. It's not always easy to have everyone on campus at once, so I hope to continue to welcome you throughout the year and to show you that we are committed to Independence, and I'm so proud that you're committed to us as well. I firmly believe that education can be a mirror for who we are, but it can also be a maker of who we're meant to be. And I believe that both Independence and Independence Community College are meant to be the best versions of each other, and we bring that out in each other too. So I just want to say, again, thank you for your continued support. Thank you for the opportunity, and again, go Pirates. So have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. We appreciate ICC's support, because if we didn't have that support this morning, you guys would just be sitting there. You would not be enjoying your hot coffee and muffins from Annie Mae's, and you wouldn't get to take your ICC cool swag pin with you when you leave. So be sure and grab that off the table as you exit. So before we go through the community calendar of some events, we're going to showcase 2 homes and homeowners who have recently invested in their property and are being showcased on behalf of the Investing in Indy program supported by the Chamber's Pride and Beautification. So at this time, would you please welcome our Chamber Pride member and Director of Finance for the City of Independence, Lacey Lease, who will make the presentation.
Thank you, Lisa. Our 2 Investing in Indy recipients today are also participants of the city's new Neighborhood Exterior Grant Program. This program was established in April of 2021 to provide assistance to homeowners who want to reinvest in their properties and improve their neighborhood. 2 or more neighboring homeowners must submit co-applications, each of $1,000 or more, to participate, and the City of Independence will reimburse each co-applicant 50% of the actual eligible costs of those improvements, up to $5,000 each. Donna Dean, Dan and Molly Reynolds, and 2 of their neighbors were the first applicants that we saw for this program. These 4 homes in the neighborhood saw improvements such as new siding, front porch repair, facade restoration, exterior painting, carpentry repair, and awning repair. We are extremely thankful for their willingness to work together as neighbors, to invest in their homes, and to invest in independence. Thank you, Lisa. Let's take a look at 218 South 5th, owned by Donna Dean. This is the before picture and after. It looks amazing. And then now the home of Dan and Molly Reynolds at 217 South 4th. The before picture and after. All right. Are we taking a picture? They're not here? Okay. All right. Thank you.
The recipients couldn't be with us this morning, so Gavin's going to load up the signs and go put them in their yards. They will be in their yards for the month of August. So our next order of business is a presentation. It's always a great day when we're able to recognize the longevity of businesses and those who have invested in our community for many, many years, and this morning is no different. This morning we have Bill Boo and Rod Zinn, who are co-owners of Cornerstone Regional Surveying. They are celebrating the milestone of being in the Southeast Kansas area and serving all of us for 25 years. So they are on North Penn Avenue, just north of like Mikey's area. You probably drive right by there, and you might even know all of the great work that they do, but they have made a significant impact in the region, and so this morning we're going to recognize them by taking some photos. If we have elected officials in the room, Mac, City, and myself, we're going to grab the plaque, and gentlemen, if you'd like to come up here, we're going to take some pictures. So the plaque says, Cornerstone Regional Surveying, 25-year anniversary. Thank you for being a part of the business community in Independence and serving Southeast Kansas since 1996. Presented by the Chamber of Commerce, Montgomery County Action Council, and the City of Independence. Okay, let's do a little quick community update. Leadership Independence applications are due today, so if you know someone who would benefit from being involved in that program, please let them know and let's get the applications in. There's live music at the brewery tonight at 7 with Robbie Bell. The Quilt Affair is opening up at the museum. It will run all the way through August, so check out the quilt show. Farmers Market is open, but Saturdays end in August, so it will just transition into a Thursday afternoon market for the month of September. Be sure and put that on your calendar. Tomorrow is Saturday recycling from 8 to noon, so be sure and get your recyclables turned in. This Saturday, we have Paula Schabel, who is the general manager of Textron, will be talking to us all about the events that will be happening out at Textron Aviation. The Independence Mid-Continent Band celebrating their 129th year. They've had an amazing season. They rock out there every Tuesday evening. They will be wrapping up the summer season next week with a night at the Oscars being their theme. I want to remind everyone that there's blues and barbecues every Wednesday at Dickey's, and what's cool about that is there's always live music. So next week it'll be Greg Hockett, and following week will be Larry Kurt and Doug Toon playing. Next week also, as Independence goes back to school, that's August the 12th at 5:30 in the Oval, so be sure and mark that on your calendar. If you're dying to go swimming one more time, you better get it in because the pool closes on Monday the 15th. Night golf will be at the park and the zoo over miniature golf. Let's see. Hold on a second. Night golf, I'm talking about YPI. If you're not signed up, sorry about your luck, but YPI, I just checked yesterday, and they're all sold out, but they're having their annual night golf tournament, and they always raise lots of money, and they push that right back into the community to have an impact on a lot of projects. So we appreciate the YPIs and all that they are doing to support our community. Red Cross Blood Drive will be the 19th. It's in memory of Candace Jo Tarkington. In 2014, Candace passed away after fighting leukemia, so her family encourages us all to donate blood in memory of her on the 19th, right here at the Civic Center from 11 to 5:15. And the Veterans Roundup will be coming up, so if you are a veteran or you know of someone who could use the assistance in filing all of their claims, they will be having an event here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 9 to 4, and there'll be a free breakfast, and all of the veteran assistants will be here to help people with that. I want to let everyone know that Mercy's Well will be a Christian concert that is being put on by the First United Methodist Church on Friday, August the 27th, and Riverside Park's miniature golf, Glow Golf, that's what I was talking about earlier, will be Friday, this 27th of August at 9 o'clock. Glow Golf tickets are $5, and they do it always on the fourth Friday of every month through kind of the summer months and early fall, so be sure and check that out. And wrapping up our events will be Movie Under the Stars. It is being sponsored by Enbridge and Independence Community College. We so much appreciate their support of community events like this. When Dr. Bowie said they want to put the community back in Independence Community College, they mean it. They're not just saying it, they're putting it to work. So we're excited to have them sponsor movie night, and that means that we will be out in the park oval at 7:30 with pre-show activities with free train and carousel rides, courtesy of Magnolia Scents by Design, and some other activities that we have planned. And then the movie will start at 8:30, and it is Onward. That's what we're going to be showing. And then Paul will be up here to talk to us also about an evening event on the 28th at the college that he will take care of during a shout-out that's coming up, so I will not steal his thunder. So with that, we have lots of ways to get information: our website, our Facebook page, the radio. We push out a lot of digital information. So if you have something you want us to share, something that we need to get some clarity on information or anything like that, be sure and let us know, and we'll get that added to the list of activities and events that are happening in our community. With that, we've got 5 great speakers up here. They have lots of really good information, so it is time to start. And I'm really excited for these first 2. I think you're going to be entertained by the presentation. So at this time, would you please welcome Ian Brown and Melissa Johnson from Toastmasters.
Jerry Seinfeld once said that public speaking is the #1 fear of the average man. Death is #2. That means that if you're at a funeral, most people would rather be in the coffin than giving the eulogy. Hi, I'm Ian Brown. Thank you for having me here today. I'm here to talk to you today about our local Toastmasters group, Speak Up Independence. I understand that you've had someone here to talk to you before when we started a couple years ago. So my aim today is not just to give you information about Toastmasters, but to give you some updates on what we're doing and some of the changes that we've had in the last couple years, especially with COVID. COVID's brought a lot of changes for all of us, and our group has had to adapt because of that. I also want to talk to you about some of the benefits of joining Toastmasters, hopefully get some of you maybe interested in it or help you to entice other people to join the group. I'm doing this speech today as kind of a formal Toastmasters type speech, so it's going to be a prepared speech that I have. It's going to be about 5 to 7 minutes in length. My fellow Toastmaster Melissa here is going to do a short evaluation afterwards, and this is just kind of to give you a demonstration of how speeches go through Toastmasters, help you see a little bit about what we do. But before we get into all that, I want to ask you if you guys know how nudists get comfortable with public speaking. They imagine everyone with their clothes on. So to start, who are we? Where are we? We are Speak Up Independents. We meet on the first and third Wednesdays of every month from noon to 1. We meet on the first Wednesdays at Dickey's Barbecue, and we meet on the third Wednesdays at Anna Mae's. We also, since COVID started, have added an exciting change. We've added an online availability to join. It's kind of like a Zoom call. We use GoToMeeting. I know I say, hey, you can do Toastmasters by Zoom, and a lot of you start thinking, oh, great, yeah, that's another Zoom meeting, another video communication platform that I have to use. I get it. I really do. I feel like a lot of us kind of feel that way. But I throw it out there as an option. Maybe you hear that the meeting is Wednesday at noon, and you think, well, I can't do that. I'm in Coffeyville on Wednesdays. There's no way I'd make that meeting. You can join us virtually. It works pretty well. Maybe you're worried about meeting in a big group of people at a restaurant during the middle of a pandemic. Maybe you have to stay home with your kids someday and can't make that meeting. Instead of just not going to the meeting, you have an option to join. I used it just this week during our meeting. I had to stay home with my kid, and instead of just canceling the meeting, I just hopped online, got on my computer, and was able to participate that way, and I really enjoyed it. We have a lot of options for connections online. We have a Facebook presence. You can also find us on the Toastmasters website, which is at toastmasters.com, and all of this information can be found in our flyer over there that Melissa brought for us. These sites will help you to find us, get information about us, help you, if you forget, remember when our meetings are, and they also have the link to our Zoom meeting if you want to join that, or a GoToMeeting if you want to join that. Even if you're a couch potato, you can be a public speaker. They call them commentators. Thank you for laughing. I'm known for giving okay speeches and really terrible jokes, and it's a passion that I just really like to mesh together, so I appreciate the laughter. So what are some of the benefits of joining? There's the very basic benefit of improving your public speaking by doing public speaking. You go to the meeting, you do the speeches, you practice speeches that you have going on. You get immediate, valuable feedback, both positive feedback and critique that you can use to improve your speeches. I feel like I've used it myself. There's what I'll call the Zoom aspect, which is working on improving your Zoom ability. Whether you like Zoom, whether you hate it, we're still doing a lot of business on Zoom, a lot of us. This is a good opportunity to work on some of those skills. There are things that I've worked on in Toastmasters since COVID started, things like, thinking about camera height, lighting, muting your microphone, things that, I didn't always think about, didn't even know to really pay attention to. This is a great way to practice those things, get some tips, and become a better leader and better speaker on Zoom. Another benefit is the promotion of local businesses. I've already told you that we meet at Anna Mae's and we meet at Dickey's. Our leadership team, when we meet, usually meet at Big Cheese. These are very conscious choices on our parts to meet in these places. We used to just meet at the library, but we wanted to branch out and support local businesses, promote those businesses, especially during this time when COVID's taken a hit on small businesses like that. And another benefit that I wanted to point out is the social benefits that you get for the club. We all really enjoy meeting. During COVID, when we were all isolated, staying at home, it was really nice to be able to get on and see familiar faces. It's been really nice to get back together and meet in person. Last year, we did a big cookout in the park and all got together for that. It was nice. We were able to socially distance. It was outside kind of a thing, kind of the first time a lot of us had really been around other people since that started. So really nice, fun atmosphere, good to get together. Even if you're afraid of public speaking, it becomes a pretty comfortable atmosphere and really can help things like that. I wanted to tell you about a speech that I gave yesterday. It was about perseverance and how nobody likes a quitter. But that speech got me kicked out of AA, so. So just to reiterate, we are Speak Up Independence Toastmaster Club. We meet the first and third Wednesdays of the month at Dickey's and Anna Mae's, and we have an online availability. Our club helps to promote local business and improve your public speaking and leadership skills, improve your Zoom savvy, and it has some great social benefits as well. You can find us on Facebook and at the Toastmasters website. You can email me at ibrown@4county.com or email the library. The president and vice president are both on our leadership team. We can help answer any questions that you might have about Toastmasters. Come and join us as a guest. It's free to join as a guest. You can see what we're all about, see if the club is worth it for you. But we look forward to seeing you at our meeting. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Melissa Johnson, and I'm a charter member of the Toastmasters International group here in Independence called Speak Up of Independence. And what we thought we would do today is give you a peek behind the scenes of what an actual meeting looks like. So I'm going to take 1 to 2 minutes to provide Ian with some immediate feedback on the speech that he gave today. So last Wednesday when we had our meeting, Ian talked to me a little bit about a couple of goals he had for today's speech. He wanted me to watch for audience engagement. He also wanted to make sure that he touched on all of the benefits of membership of Toastmasters. And finally, he wanted to make sure that he provided you guys with a polished and professional speech. So I'm going to talk a little bit to Ian about some of the things that I saw that he excelled with. First off, I think that you were able to quickly engage the audience with the use of humor. And I thought it was that you were able to not only engage them quickly, but you were able to keep them engaged by throwing in a couple of jokes throughout the speech. I also think that you did a really good job working the room. You maintained eye contact, but not with any one person. You looked at everyone in the room and helped to keep them engaged in that respect. I also felt that you used a good use of hand gestures. You know, sometimes when we're working on Zoom meetings or we're doing the virtual platforms, the hand gestures aren't as important. But when you're meeting with an audience in person, it's a great way to help keep them engaged. And even doing something as simple as nodding your head can help the audience feel like they're understanding you and relating to what you had to say. Something that you might want to work on is just reducing the use of those filler words. I heard a couple of ahs and ums, and a couple of times when you would repeat a word, you said so, or So just keep an eye on that, and I think the more that you're aware of that, you're going to be able to reduce the number of those filler words. Now, there is one thing I wanted to correct about your speech. You mentioned that there were 2 things that you're known for: giving okay speeches and telling really terrible jokes. But I think with the presentation today, we can all agree that you did a really good job of giving an excellent speech and telling really, really bad jokes. Guys, if you'd like to learn more about joining Speak Up Independence, feel free to stick around after the meeting and you can speak to me or you can speak to Ian. And of course, we have our flyers over there on the table. How about one more round of applause for Ian? Thank you very much. Lisa, back to you.
I should have had you guys go last. Now the rest of the speakers are like, oh, great. They're over there making tick marks every time I say and use non-words. Well, up next, John, don't worry, is he's not so new anymore, but we'll still call him our new city engineer. We're super excited to have him leading our city. He's energetic and intelligent and motivated and always has lots of great ideas and projects that he's pushing forward for the city of Independence. He's here this morning to give us an update, so please welcome John Garris.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Too kind. And pencils down. As Lisa said, I'm John Garris, and thankfully we have coffee. So again, I can pretend to have a personality this morning. I work for the city as the city engineer, and I'm here to give you an update on the city projects we currently have in progress. One of the things in the recent city survey that came out is that people were very concerned about the roads. Roads are on the minds of the citizens. The good news is that we have several projects that are in various stages of development on the roads. No doubt many of you noticed the crack sealing work that has taken place on the downtown streets. That work consists of placing a rubberized asphalt in the cracks to prevent moisture infiltration. Moisture is bad for a road. It freezes, it gets into the gravel underneath. Nothing good happens when we get moisture in there. So crack sealing is a very cost-effective way to increase pavement life. And studies have shown that just crack sealing a road can extend its life for 5 years. That's pretty significant. We'd intended to immediately follow that up with pavement marking. As I was driving here today, I noticed that several of the crosswalks were extremely worn. And when we went to go buy paint, as we normally do, we found that there's a nationwide shortage of marking paint. Nationwide. It's being rationed, and there's a tier, and we're on the last rung of it. So the cause of this isn't COVID, believe it or not. Everything else is related to what's a COVID issue. But during the winter storm that we had in February, most of the plants that make chemicals that are used in creating the marking paint are in Texas. They froze, they're out of business, and it'll be a while until they catch up. This shortage is expected to last a few more months. As soon as paint's available and the weather is good, we will be remarking the pavement. Still on the roads, coming up soon, there are 3 street projects that will start just after Neowalla. KDOT recently bid Main Street from 10th to 8th, which will be a complete rebuild of the street and associated sidewalk, and that'll finish in the second quarter of next year. On Maple Street, we're looking at milling and overlaying the road from 10th all the way to 17th. Then once we get to 17th, we're going to do a complete rebuild of that road all the way to the city limits. That's a pretty significant project, and that will last all the way until the third quarter of next year. And KDOT has recently approved an economic development grant for building out roads and improving the roads in the industrial park area to serve new businesses. In just those 3 projects, the city is taking advantage of generous grants from KDOT, which will pay up to $3 million in costs. That's a lot of money, and it's going directly into our roads. We're also working on improving our sidewalk quality. We just recently awarded ADA ramps and other replacements at 508 locations throughout the city. And I'm really pleased to note that KDOT just recently awarded funds so we can mill and overlay from 9th to Penn on Chestnut, just out there. You can see how that road needs a little bit of attention. But we can also widen the existing lanes on North Penn from Morningside to the city limits. So we'll mill and overlay that and have a wider road to boot. It's okay, I've done that myself, don't worry. KDOT will fund 90% of the eligible costs on those 2 construction projects as well. So that wasn't in the $3 million I mentioned before. We're also planning on milling and overlaying Myrtle from 10th to 17th, but we haven't got a final start date from the contractor on that project. That's just street improvements, which doesn't account for the effort that goes into day-to-day of filling potholes and street sweeping. We've looked at the ground level, what else is going on? Another hot topic is City Hall. We're getting ready to rebuild City Hall, remodel it from the inside, and also build a new fire station. We've selected a contractor to team with our architect to get the best design possible, and we've done a preliminary layout of the way that the existing building will be rebuilt. We started work on understanding what will be housed in the new fire and EMS building and how it will be laid out. These projects are scheduled to be complete in the first quarter of 2023. Those are things that people are really interested in. Then there are the things that people aren't interested in until there's a problem, and that's water and sewer. We're looking to eliminate problems before they start at the water plant. Our engineering firms put together a master plan for keeping our capacity in place and keeping our facility reliable into the future. This will entail $6 million in spending over the next 5 years. We've requested 2 things for the master plan, and the first is that we don't change the way the water tastes. The water tastes good, and the survey said that, the water tastes good. I think it's fantastic in the city. We don't want to change that. And the second thing is we want to make a system that's reliable for decades into the future. And this master plan, I believe, fully does that. Also on water, we've just reviewed the 90% plans to change out several water mains in the city, south of the high school and north of the railroad tracks, and kind of west of 10th Street, that little area. And we'll be replacing water meters with new electronic water meters that'll make billing easier and also give this added benefit of letting you know potentially if you have a leak. On the sewer side, we recently were awarded a community development block grant, don't say that 3 times fast, which provides us $700,000 in funding on sewer improvements. Additionally, the city is taking out a low-interest loan to cover other improvements where we're replacing sewer lines that are over 100 years old. Together, those projects are about $4.7 million in cost. We also have an airport in town. We worked with both KDOT and the FAA to keep it repaired and reliable and to serve our community and business. We just finished painting the runway and started replacing part of the runway apron that was originally installed in 1942. We have other paving work scheduled for next year, and on over $1.6 million in project cost, the city will end up paying around $100,000. Lastly, we have some projects that are dedicated to fun. We're looking on a new sidewalk and a restroom around the Kittyland area at the zoo. We're also looking at adding soccer fields and complete rebuild of the baseball and softball fields down on Park Street. Just the projects I've described this morning total over $30 million in spending. The good news is over $6 million of that is paid for by grants and won't be borne by the taxpayers in any way. This shows the diligence of the way that we're trying to stretch the money of the community to get the greatest benefit possible. I really think it's safe to say that the city takes spending money wisely on capital projects the way I really consider my coffee. Seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And his presentation goes right in line with what I was saying when he started talking about the marking of the intersections. I had someone ask me about that the other day, and that's what we're supposed to do. Now we're supposed to go out and share that information. When that comes up at coffee or at the donut shop, you all know the answer to that question. So we appreciate that information. All right, next up is our very own homegrown young professional who is, I don't know, Paula, can you still be young? We can still be young, that's right. She's younger than I am, but we're excited to have Paula leading the charge at Textron Aviation. She is someone who went to Independence High School, got her education, came back and worked at Textron, and is now the general manager of the facility, celebrating 25 years. We're very, very excited about this huge milestone. Would you please welcome Paula Schabel?
Thank you, Lisa. How I feel old or young? Well, let me tell you, with my readers, I'm feeling a little old. I'd like to start out. How many of you were here in 1994 in December? How many of you remember the buttons we all wore around town trying to get Cessna to come to town? I remember that. I was 19 years old when I found out that it passed. I was standing outside of Independence Financial Center with Larry Pendleton, and we were having that discussion. Little did I know I was going to come work at Cessna Aircraft Company and also be the GM 25 years later. So pretty excited to be here. As Lisa said, I grew up here in Independence, and I understand firsthand how our company and employees mean to this community. And I'm honored to provide you an update today of our business. Last week, our parent company, Textron Incorporated, reported its second quarter earnings, and I'm happy to report that Textron Aviation had another strong quarter. And we are positioned well for future growth. Reflecting on the last 3 months and where we are today versus a year ago, we have much to celebrate. In Q2, we saw strong commercial demand and order activity of our aircraft, which resulted in a backlog of over $2.7 billion at the end of the quarter, and we continue to see many positive signs across the market and industry. Flight activity continues to be strong, and it's higher than it was before the pandemic. The market's strong for private aviation, and our products line up with the needs of those customers. While we are excited about our future, we will continue to manage the business with cautious optimism. So with that, with our 25th anniversary this year, we will be celebrating our 25th anniversary. The company broke ground on the 400,000 square foot site in 1995, and we now have more than 500 employees at this facility, and we continue to grow today. Throughout its history, our campus has produced and delivered more than 12,500 aircraft from our facility, including the most popular single engine ever built, the Cessna Skyhawk 172. And the campus has grown from manufacturing and delivering just those single engine aircraft to a Citation Mustang light jet, a Citation M2 light jet, and now the Cessna Caravan. So tomorrow, Saturday, August 7th, we will host an open house to celebrate the hard work and dedication that our employees have shown day in and day out over the past 25 years. It's our world-class team members that allow Textron Aviation to produce industry-leading products, and we're eager to celebrate alongside them. And those that mean the most to them, their families. So the event starts tomorrow at 9 o'clock at our main campus. We do have a breakfast we're serving from 9 to 11. We do have car show, a static aircraft display, which we will have all of our products in one building displayed for your viewing. We're going to bring down a Denali mock-up, which is one of our newest aircraft in Wichita, that's going to be produced for people to walk through and sit down in and look at. We will be providing self-guided tours throughout all of our campus. We will have games, music, raffle drawings, and much more. At 11 o'clock, the air show will commence. That will be a couple of aircraft that will be doing some aerobatical maneuvers in the sky. So that'll be kind of fun for everyone. So be sure if you are coming out to bring your lawn chairs, because it does last a little bit. With that, I'd kind of like to just talk about our great people. We're committed to providing meaningful opportunities to our employees. So as many of you know, we are hiring. We did have a hiring blitz last night. We currently have openings for flight team members, paint team members, painters, and sheet metal assemblers. So if any of you know of anyone that's looking for a job, send them our way. We'd love to have them. With that, that's all I have. Thank you.
We got a busy weekend planned, so I think it's going to be nice weather, and I think it will be lots of fun to be out at Textron Aviation. And there's some more good information we need to share, is that they're hiring at Textron Aviation. So anybody that needs a job, go get one. I always enjoy when, especially during the COVID-19 time period, when we've been able to have medical providers come and join us. Again, First Friday always works hard to bring to our citizens good, accurate information, and that's timely and relevant to the subject matter. And this morning we have with us from Labette Health, Dr. Melissa McIntosh. We specifically asked her to come speak to us very candidly, openly, honestly about COVID-19 vaccinations, where we are in the area, where we are possibly as a nation. And again, I want to remind everyone that might be listening on Facebook Live, Labette Health is sponsoring a COVID-19 vaccination clinic right now until 9:30 at the Civic Center. So if you are someone who needs a vaccination, please head this direction. We can get that taken care of courtesy of Labette Health. Would you please welcome Dr. McIntosh?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I must admit I was a little bit intimidated. I've been a doctor for 23 years now. I have worked emergency rooms, I have worked clinics, I have worked hospitals, and I've now been reduced to an 8-year-old 4-H student giving her first demonstration at a meeting. So you'll have to excuse me if I stumble just a little bit. I've also was hamstringed very first off the bat because we have this nice little note up here saying, talk into the microphone. Don't move around, you're on TV. So, as many as my patients know out there, and I see several of you, I'm a hand talker, I'm a mover, I'm a shaker, and I've now been reduced to being a 4-H student that cannot move. So, as a pediatrician, I believe in books, and I believe in books for children, and I believe that they have messages. So I know we're all a group of adults, but I'm going to have you step back a moment, and we're going to read a children's book. This is one. It is by Catherine Otashi. Blue was a quiet color. He enjoyed looking up at the sky, floating in the waves, and on days he felt daring, splashing in the rain puddles. Every once in a while, he wished that he could be more sunny like yellow, or bright like green, or more regal like purple, or outgoing like orange, but overall, he liked being blue, except when he was with Red. Red was a hothead. He'd like to pick on Blue. Red is a great color, he'd say. Red is hot, blue is not. And Blue would feel bad about being blue. Sometimes Yellow comforted Blue. Blue is a very nice color, she'd say. But Yellow never said that in front of Red. She never said, stop picking on Blue. Green, purple, and orange thought Blue was nice too, but they never told Red to stop either. And every time Red said something mean and no one spoke up, he got bigger and bigger and bigger. Soon Red grew so big that everyone was afraid of him. No one dared stop him, and Red picked on all the colors. Then everyone felt a little blue. Until one came. He had a different shape with bold strokes and squared corners. He was funny and he made the colors laugh. Red saw this and he got very hot. Stop laughing, he told Yellow. Stop laughing, he told Green. Stop laughing, he told Purple and Orange. And they did. Then Red rolled up to one. Stop laughing, he told him. But one stood up straight and tall like an arrow, and he said no. Red was mad, but one wouldn't budge, so Red rolled away. One turned to the colors and he said, if someone is mean and picks on me, I, for one, will stand up and say no. Then Yellow felt brave, and she said, me too. Green agreed, and she said, me 3. Then Purple became 4, and Orange became 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue saw the colors change. He wanted to count. Red grew hot. He felt left out. He grew hotter and hotter and hotter. Red raced over to Blue and said what he always did. Red is hot and Blue is not. But this time, Blue stood up, tall, and he became 6. Red can be really hot, he said, but Blue can be super cool. Red blew a fuse and tried to roll over Blue. But everyone took a stand and said no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seeing them stand tall made Red feel very, very, very small. Then Red turned even redder and began rolling away. Blue called out, Red can be hot and Blue can be cool. And Red stopped in his tracks. Red can count too, said one. Red rocked and rolled and he turned into 7. Everyone counts, they shouted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then Red laughed and joined the fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sometimes it just takes 1. Can I sit down now? Okay. I'm sure you're wondering why a physician with board certifications in pediatrics and internal medicine is up here reading children's book to you at first thing in the morning. It's getting later in the morning, and I'm the last speaker on the roster today, and you've got a lot of things to do. I know I'm always thinking, what do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? And after all, we were supposed to talk about COVID and have a very serious conversation about what's going on in our community, right? Right. Well, you're stuck with me. Sorry. I have a mantra that I keep in my head, and I actually go through it most days. It's very simple. It's KISS, K-I-S-S. Ever heard of it? Keep it simple, stupid. That's what it stands for. And it grounds me when I get too complicated in my thinking, and I get too complicated and all up in my head, or I try to get the big head, and when I'm thinking about my patients' cases, and then I realize, break it down, keep it simple, because honestly, usually the simple answer is the most correct one. The book today dealt with simple math and simple colors. It's simple, but the concepts are grand. I just think that book is brilliant. I just love it. Today, we're going to break down COVID into simple numbers. And these numbers come from the CDC. In Montgomery County, Kansas, we've had 3,726 cases of COVID, and we've had 85 deaths. I want you to think of the church you go to, maybe a community program that you're involved in, and think about how many people would be sitting in that kind of room with you. And then I want you to think of 85 of them gone. In Kansas, we have had an approximate 338,568 cases, with 5,318 deaths. I graduated from Caney, Kansas, with a population between 2,000 and 2,500. I think Cherryville is probably close to Caney in their numbers or their population. That would be every man, woman, and child in both Caney and Cherryville, Kansas, gone from the face of the earth. In the United States, we've had over 35 million cases of COVID and about 619,000 deaths, a little over that. Globally, we've had over 200 million cases of COVID that we know of, and we've had 42 million, actually over 42 million deaths. That is the entire population of Los Angeles, California, plus some, gone. If you like comparisons, and we doctors like comparisons, we always look at the before and the afters. The 1918 influenza pandemic took the lives of about 50 million people worldwide, but it took the lives of probably around 675,000 Americans. We are rapidly approaching that number with the mortality figures of COVID in the United States. How many of you are absolutely sick to death of hearing about COVID? It's okay, raise your hands. I will not be offended. I am sick to death of COVID, okay? Well, I'm tired of hearing about it, I'm tired of thinking about it, but unfortunately, it's still present in our communities, in our lives, in our schools. How many of you thought that April, May, June, and a whole lot of July were absolutely glorious? Yeah, less masks, yeah, things opened back up, we all ate at restaurants, the healthcare community, while we didn't get out of mask at our clinics and things, we did take a collective sigh because we had a little bit of a break. But unfortunately, things have changed again, and that's what I want to express to you here today as a community. Along came something called the Delta variant. We first started hearing about the Delta variant of COVID that was coming out of India and just wreaking havoc. Viruses are sneaky, tricky, nasty little suckers, okay? The change in they change their physiology, and then they change their defenses, and that is exactly what the Delta variant of COVID did. It came with a twist. But let's talk some numbers again. Are not. Now, this is not bad English that my battle axe of an English teacher and number that in medicine we borrow which was the huge pandemic, you were likely to infect maybe 1.4, 1.5 to maybe even up to 5 other people, especially if you were on one of those troop ships coming back from World War I. Measles, probably one of the most infective diseases in the whole world. One person can possibly infect 10 to 18 other people, okay, and do it quickly. Regular old COVID-19 that we have been battling, maybe 2 to 3.5 other people. The Delta COVID, the new one that we are seeing, is likely to infect 5 to 8 other people. Now, if you are at your seats and you have a red card, a red square in front of you, would you please stand up? Don't worry, you're not going to be asked to do anything besides stand up. It's okay. Okay. All our red squares. I have the measles. These are the people, excuse me. These are the measles. If I had the measles, these are the amount of people that I am likely to infect, and that's the conservative number. I got tired of cutting squares, okay? You can sit down. If you have a blue card in front of you, please stand up. Ah, I got her. Yay. Okay. So, if I had COVID-19 and I was in a room with you, this is the amount of people that I would likely to infect. Okay, you can go ahead and sit down. If you have a green card in front of you, would you please stand? All right. This is Delta. If I had the Delta variant and I had the possibility of being, or if I was unvaccinated, or if I had been in a room and exposed people, this is the amount of people that I would possibly expose and could give the Delta variant to. You guys can sit down. Thank you very much for playing along with me. I wanted you to get a visualization of what this means, of what this whole infective number means, and why there's a difference between regular old COVID and our new Delta variant. Almost all of what we're seeing in the hospitals at this point in time are from Delta. And almost all of them, matter of fact, I can say pretty firmly, 99% to 100%, especially at what we're seeing at Labette, is non-vaccinated people and mostly Delta variant. We're in a hot spot, and I think this is actually a conservative slide. If you look at the CDC slide, all you see is red, okay? Red around us, we're red. That means COVID numbers are going back up. With our county numbers, again, these are just rising. I think these are actually last week's numbers, but it's just steadily rising along the way. And I shouldn't even say steadily, it's astronomically rising again. So we got lucky some weeks in July. We had like 100 new cases, not in Montgomery County, but not just in Montgomery County, but say around, okay, or in Kansas even. I checked the numbers yesterday, and we had over 1,000 new cases in the state of Kansas. So that's a day-by-day increase. So you can see even from a week's time period what we're going through. And I just hate the statistics, but here it goes, up, up, up again. We were so nice to have a little bit of a break, but our hospitalizations, our COVID numbers, and then unfortunately following that will be our COVID deaths. Thank you. So let's talk numbers again. How many people does it take to care for a hospitalized COVID patient? Well, at least 2 nurses, and that's very conservative, okay, because there's probably more. There's going to be a respiratory therapist or 2 at least in that, because you got morning shifts, night shifts, things like that. You may have an ambulance crew of at least 2, a radiology tech to snap your pictures, a CNA, because those CNAs are absolutely vital to help the nurses and the doctors take care of patients, and your doctors, maybe 1 to 3, depending if you need a specialist. So, 12 to 15 patients to take care of a hospitalized individual with COVID. And we are doing that in full protective gear, we're doing it short-staffed, and we're doing it for extended hours. And do you think, just because we have COVID, we have any less car wrecks, diabetes complications, strokes, heart attacks, sepsis? That's all still happening too. Southeast Kansas and most rural areas have a shortage of healthcare providers. Beds and personnel can become short very quickly. Things we would usually send to referral hospitals have to stay because we just don't have the beds. One of my last ER shifts was about 2 weeks ago, and for one patient to get out, not even a COVID patient, I called 4 hospitals. I talked to a colleague of mine a week later. He called 10 hospitals, and I talked to Becky this morning, and yesterday we called 15. These aren't just COVID patients. These are people that need care, and the beds are so short. There is good news, no. I'm not here just to bring all despair, okay? We have safe and effective vaccinations that cost us nothing, that are readily available through Labette, Walgreens, Walmart, the health department. It is there. It is free, and there are various options of vaccinations. They are currently used for emergency use, but I think Pfizer is probably pretty quickly going to get FDA approval. And they're approved for 12 years and up, depending on the vaccination you choose. If you are hesitant, if you are worried, we understand, we get it. We're not going to judge you for being worried about your health or about something that's so new on the market. We get it. But please, talk to your physician, talk to your healthcare provider. Do not rely on Facebook. Do not rely on social media to get your answers and to get your questions answered. We want to save lives. We want to save people illnesses. And we want to get you good and correct information. Now, all I've talked about is numbers, correct? Even read you a book about them. Now, I want you to throw out every number that I have talked to you about this morning, every statistic, and I want you to put it away. Because the only number that really matters today is one. One. One for the person wearing a mask that mitigates disease, one for the vaccinated person that stops transmission, one for the grandparent that gets to watch their grandkids grow up, one for the parent that gets to send their kid to school safely, one extra hospital bed for a person that needs it, and one for the patient in front of us as a healthcare provider. As a healthcare community, we pledge to continue to fight to stop this hideous, nasty disease that robs us of our security, our health, and our loved ones. We ask you to stand with us in one voice and say no to one more case, one more illness, one more death, because one is too many. Because everyone counts. And sometimes it just takes one. Thank you.
Mercy sakes, I don't even know what to say. But I will say that everybody who just stood for you, Dr. McIntosh, stands for every single one of the healthcare providers out there that are working and sacrificing their own health and their well-being, their time with their families and everything. And on that, I would just say again, this is the place to get accurate information, and please do what Dr. McIntosh suggested. And when you have a question, go to your medical provider. Just plain and simple, go to those people who have gone to years and years of school and studied and have great amounts of wealth. And we just encourage everyone to go to their own personal medical provider. Okay, we've got some shout outs and a few other things, so hang tight. We're right on schedule. In fact, we're ahead of schedule. That's even better. So we're going to do some shout outs. Dr. Larry Markevich, if you're in the house, or Mr. Farthing, come on up. Jason Rutledge from the Optimist Club, or Lacey King as the president as well, and Amber Durfee from Fleas Antiques. Hop in line, and Paul Molnar, come on up. Let's do this. All right, Mr. Farthing, you're first.
I am representing the community college and community band group. Dr. Makevich has put together a wonderful tribute for 9/11. It will be held at Patio 210, and it will begin at 10:30 in the morning on 9/11. We have a community JUCO band put together, and we're going to celebrate the 9/11 tragedy, if you can call celebration something that is worth thinking about. We're going to honor it, I guess is the better term to use. There are going to be some presentations by armed service groups, and there are going to be some speeches by people who actually were a part of 9/11 in the New York area. So Dr. Markevich has put this together, and it's a wonderful tribute, and Independence while better place.
Thank you. Jason, you're up.
So advertising the Optimist pancake feed, and when we have that pancake feed, it's going to be on September 11th as well. And as you leave the pancake feed, we are handing out these flags for you to go over and, like Dawn had said, to celebrate / memorialize at Patio 210 what had happened on September 11th. And so we wanted to just let you guys know about the Optimist Pancake Feed and also let you know that we'll be giving these out. So thank you.
Amber?
Hi, y'all. I'm Amber Durfee, and me and my partner in crime, he wasn't able to make it today. He had to work, but anyhow, I think he did that on purpose. Anyhow, we just purchased Fleas and Teaks at 107 West Main in downtown Independence, and we are super, super excited about this. We decided we were going to carry on the tradition that Doug and Susan, the previous owners, how they got the store to where it is today. It's wonderful, wonderful. When we moved here 4 years ago, we fell in love with the store, and here we are now owning it and carrying on the tradition. We invite all of y'all to come in and see the store. We have 25 plus vendors, including 4 new ones this month. Things are always going to be changing, new items coming in almost every day. And we are just super, super excited to be here in Independence. We love this town, we love the people, and it's just wonderful. Great.
Thank you. We're glad you're here, too. And Paul, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Molnar. I'm the Director of Theater Performance at Independence Community College, and I'm here to plug a really exciting event that we do. It's happening on August 28th, and it is our 19th annual 24-hour plays. So for those of you who don't know what that means, we have a group of area high schoolers who come to campus around 6 o'clock on the Friday, and they audition. There are actors there, there are directors there, all area high schoolers. And within a 24-hour time period, they write a 10-minute play. The actors rehearse that play, and then it gets performed at 7 o'clock. So within 24 hours, there are 6 to 8 brand new 10-minute plays written, acted, and assisted, directed by area high schoolers. So it's a really fun event. It's free, August 28th at 7 o'clock at the William Inge Theater.
Awesome. I like Tana. Tana's up next.
Hi, I'm Tana, the senior editor of the Independence Daily Reporter, and Lisa asked me to give a shout out. Smart Asset recently did a survey on Independence, and they named them as the 5th best place to retire in Kansas. We put the article that I did on our Facebook, and we just encourage everybody to share it so everybody can see what a wonderful place we live in.
Thank you. So this is wrapping up First Friday. I want to make some closing comments. I want to thank our speakers. Melissa and Ian, you did an amazing job. And I think Toastmasters is a true gift to our community. So we're very fortunate that we have that program. And I encourage anyone and everyone who is interested in becoming a better speaker and cutting down on the amount of ands and ums that you say to join the cause. John, I want to thank you again for your leadership at the city and for sharing with us good, accurate information. Now we're all going to go talk about that national paint shortage. That shouldn't be an issue, but more importantly than that, in my opinion, is the fact that he also mentioned that the total cost of all of those programs was close to $30 million and that $6 million of that was in grant funding, which means that Lacey and everyone at the city working together, being good stewards of our tax funds. So we should be very appreciative of those efforts and the people that we have leading the charge. So thank you, John. And Paula, congratulations on 25 years. Congratulations on your leadership at Textron. We appreciate those 500 employees that are working out there, making and creating and assembling planes that, are we still the single engine aircraft capital of the world? Alrighty, go put that on social media. And Dr. McIntosh, we just again want to thank you for your expertise, your amazing medical care, everything that Labette Health does for our community, for providing the clinic this morning. And I know that Dr. McIntosh will stay around and answer any questions or push you in the right direction if she cannot answer those questions. But again, we want to thank you so much for your dedication and everything that you're doing to help keep us all safe from the vaccination. From COVID-19. Sorry, I did not mean that. I have been vaccinated. Safe from COVID-19.
It's a whole team. It is a whole team.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I want to also congratulate our Investing in Indy recipients. Go drive by their homes and take in the beauty of the work that they have done. I want to congratulate Cornerstone Regional Surveying again for your 25 years of being in our community. I know that MAC and the Chamber and the city and all of the elected officials appreciate the number of employees that you employ and the work that you're doing and your commitment to the area. So congratulations again on 25 years. Vince, thank you very much for sponsoring this morning. I don't know, are you a Toastmasters guy? Because if you're not, you look like you've already been through the program. So take the information on the tables that the college has provided for us, read it, go share it, pick up those pins and enjoy those. And again, I want to remind everyone that we have the COVID vaccination clinic going on until 9:30 this morning. I want to also let you know that by the door when you exit, Chris Hammerschmidt, the park manager of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, once again giving us fun stuff. So if you're a pet owner, be a good pet owner and clip this on your pocket when you go take a walk and take care of business out there. They brought you all of those, so take those with you. We appreciate that. Keep our parks, the Riverside Park, Ralph Mitchell Zoo, the Elk City State Park, and your neighborhoods all cleaned up. School starts next week, everybody, so slow down. Go slow in those neighborhoods, slow in those school zones, and be super aware that we've got kids walking and on bicycles and parents unloading kids. Remember that you can still sign up for Leadership Independence. And with that, I just want to say thank you all for coming. The room is packed. We're glad to see so many people out and about, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Have a great weekend.